This deep dive covers the report by the U.S. Department of Education entitled Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Teaching and Learning.
It's quite a document.
Yeah, it really is. It's packed with insights about how AI is, well, set to reshape education. And our mission today is basically to pull out the crucial lessons and maybe some action items from it.
Makes sense. There's a lot in there.
Definitely. We want you to walk away with a clear idea of what really matters from this report.
And what strikes you immediately is the sense of urgency. It's not some far-off future thing. It's about right now.
Absolutely. The report gives, what, three main reasons why we need to tackle AI in education now, not later? What are those drivers?
Well, first, there's just the sheer potential, right? AI might let us hit our educational goals in ways that are, better, maybe more scalable, possibly even cheaper.
Personalization at scale, maybe?
That's a big part of it, yeah. Doing things we couldn't really imagine before on a large scale.
Okay, so that promise of a better, more efficient system is one thing. What else is pushing this urgency?
Secondly, the report flags potential risks. Pretty serious ones.
Like what?
Well, as we embed AI deeper, we need to be really careful about student data privacy, for one. And then there's the issue of bias creeping into the algorithms.
Right. Biased tools leading to unfair outcomes.
Exactly. And just making sure the information AI gives is actually accurate. That's a challenge, too.
So being proactive about the pitfalls. Got it. And the third reason?
The third is basically preparing for, well, the unexpected. AI is moving so fast. We need to get frameworks in place now to prevent or at least mitigate negative consequences that we might not even foresee yet.
And this report, it's not gleaming to have all the answers, is it?
No, not at all. It's really positioned as a conversation starter.
A kickoff point.
Precisely. It's a call for everyone, teachers, leaders, policymakers, researchers, the tech folks, to work together on this. Shape it responsibly.
And to guide that collaboration, they pose some pretty big questions. What are those key inquiries?
Two main ones stand out. First, what's our collective vision? Like, what does a really good, achievable education system look like when automation and AI are involved?
But critically, one that still protects and centers human agency, right?
Yeah.
Teachers and students.
Absolutely central. That human element is key. So that's the vision question.
Okay, and the second guiding question.
The second is more practical. How do we get there? What guidelines, what guardrails do we actually need? And, how quickly?
And we need evidence too, right? Evidence that it's actually having a positive impact ethically and equitably.
Exactly. We need proof it works and works fairly before rolling it out widely.
And underpinning all this, they lay out four foundations for building policy. What are those?
Four key pillars. First, center people. Always focus on students, parents, educators.
Makes sense.
Second, advance equity. Make sure AI helps close gaps, not widen them.
Crucial.
Third, ensure safety, ethics, and effectiveness. Pretty self-explanatory, but vital. And fourth, promote transparency. People need to understand how these systems work, what data they use.
Okay, those four centering people: equity, safety, ethics, effectiveness, and transparency. Good foundation. For folks wanting more on these foundational ideas, the AI Coach by Anil Nathu has some great perspectives.
Good point.
All right, let's dive into the first big area, learning. The report highlights AI enabling more adaptivity. What does that mean in practice?
Well, think about tech that can actually figure out where a student is, their strengths, where they're struggling, and then tailor the instruction just for them.
Like a personal tutor.
That's the idea, yeah. AI analyzes interactions, sees patterns, adjusts the learning path. But, and this is important, the report stresses that this adaptivity is always limited by the specific AI model. It's not magic.
It's not human intuition.
Right. It's sophisticated, but it's still a tool with boundaries.
And these newer large language models, how do they fit in? They seem to be a game changer.
They definitely push the envelope. Their ability to, understand and generate text opens up lots of possibilities for interactive learning. But again, limitations exist. They don't truly understand things like humans do. No common sense.
The report brings up intelligent tutoring systems, IT, as an early AI success story. What made them significant?
ITs, especially in things like math, were a big deal because they didn't just say right or wrong. They tried to model how an expert tutor would break down a problem.
Guiding students step by step.
Exactly. Giving feedback at each stage of the thinking process. That's incredibly valuable.
But they had limitations initially.
They did. Early ITs were often focused on very structured, logical tasks, mostly cognitive stuff. They sometimes missed the motivation or social side of learning.
But the field's moved on from that.
Oh, yeah. AI models are broader now, trying to handle more types of learning, and crucially, there's much more focus on keeping humans, especially teachers, in the loop.
So the teacher handles motivation, bigger picture skills.
Right. Well, the AI might provide targeted practice or feedback. And studies, meta-analyses,
Mm.
actually show eye tests can be effective. They could definitely supplement human tutoring where resources are tight.
What about future directions for this AI adaptivity? Where should we be heading?
Well, one big shift is moving from focusing on student deficits, what they can't do, to an asset-oriented approach.
Building on their strengths.
Exactly. Recognizing what they can do and building from there. It's just a more positive, equitable perspective.
That makes a lot of sense. What else?
Also, broadening the definition of learning itself. It's not just about correct answers. AI needs to support reasoning, explaining your thinking, communication, self-regulation, collaboration,
The whole learner.
the whole learner, yeah, including neurodiverse students, and supporting creative, open-ended tasks, not just drills.
This connects to another point. Learning with AI and learning about AI. Can you explain that duality?
Sure. It means students should obviously use AI as a tool to help them learn stuff, history, science, whatever. But they also need to learn how AI works.
AI literacy.
Exactly. Understanding the basics, the privacy issues, the ethics, the potential for bias, so they can be informed users and citizens.
Are schools starting to do this?
Some are. The K-12 computer science framework touches on it. You see examples of students using AI for projects like simulations and then discussing the ethical side. It's about empowerment. The AI coach by Anil Nathu often touches on resources for building this kind of literacy.
Good connection, but the report also warns about needing systems thinking. What's the concern there?
The main point is AI isn't a magic bullet you just drop into a classroom. You have to think about how it fits the whole system.
The context matters.
Hugely. AI isn't ready, for example, to grasp culturally responsive teaching, so we need to be smart about where AI adds value and where human teachers are irreplaceable.
Which leads to some big open questions about AI for learning.
Yeah, lots of them. Like, how well can AI adapt to individual strengths? How well can it really support students with disabilities or English learners?
And are students themselves having a say in how AI is used?
That's another one. Will AI narrow what students do or support broader goals?
Ah.
Can it handle the social side of learning, like collaboration? And always the privacy question looms large.
So the key recommendation for learning is basically pick AI models that align with your vision for learning. Don't just chase the tech.
That's the core message. Don't let the tech dictate your educational goals. Start with your vision. Remember, general AI isn't real. Every model is specific, limited. Think systemically. Keep humans in control. Understand the AI is just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, let's shift gears to teaching. The report really hammers the principle, always center educators, ACE, in AI. Why is that non-negotiable?
ACE in AI. It's fundamental. It means AI should empower teachers, support them, augment their skills, not replace them.
Make their jobs more manageable, maybe. Give them deeper insights.
Exactly. Free up time for the creative, human parts of teaching. The report identifies 3 key loops where teachers must be central. Student-AI interaction, how teachers use AI for planning, and even in designing and evaluating the AI tools themselves.
Teacher expertise is critical at all stages.
Indispensable.
Okay, so how might AI actually improve teaching jobs? We know teaching is incredibly complex and demanding.
Right. The report suggests one early win could be reducing the administrative burden, the low-level stuff that eats up time.
Like paperwork, scheduling, finding resources.
Yeah, that kind of thing. There's even a mention of a McKinsey report suggesting AI could cut down prep time significantly. Imagine AI assistants handling reminders, sharing resources, freeing teachers up for students.
Beyond admin, what else?
Well, extending the teacher's reach. AI could offer extra practice, say in math, when the teacher isn't available. Or maybe draft initial comments on essays for the teacher to review and personalize.
Helping with feedback load.
Potentially. And also supporting teacher reflection. Tools that analyze classroom talk, help adapt materials for IEPs, or even spot subtle patterns in student behavior that a busy teacher might miss.
Those sound like really positive applications, but there are challenges too, right? What are the hurdles?
Definitely challenges. One big one is finding the right balance between human and computer decisions. What tasks should be delegated? How do we ensure teachers can always monitor and override?
And it takes time for teachers to learn these tools too.
It does. That's an investment. Then there's a concern that being in the loop could actually increase workload if it's not designed well.
The dreaded more work scenario.
Right. And the tension between helpful assistance and potential surveillance. Privacy is a huge concern here. Plus, the risk of over-trusting the AI, just accepting its output without critical thought.
And the privacy issue ties into using AI to understand student strengths, doesn't it? How do you balance insight with protection?
That's a really tricky tightrope. AI could help personalize based on strength, but that needs data, sensitive student data. So FERPA, state laws, data security, all massive considerations.
And the risk of algorithmic bias again.
Absolutely. Biased data or models leading to discrimination. And the report notes the lack of diversity among AI developers can make this worse.
So what key questions should we be asking about AI for teaching?
We need to ask, are teachers getting useful insights while protecting privacy? Do they have real oversight and control? Are the surveillance protections strong enough? And critically, can teachers shape how AI is used to boost equity and cultural responsiveness?
These are tough but essential questions. For anyone wrestling with these, the AI Coach by Anil Nathu often explores these practical dilemmas.
That's a good resource, yeah.
So the main recommendation here is for AI to be inspectable, explainable, and overridable. Break that down.
Okay, inspectable means teachers should be able to get a sense of how the AI works, how it analyzes student work. Explainable means the AI should provide some kind of rationale for its recommendations or decisions.
Not just a black box.
Right. And overridable is maybe the most crucial. Teachers must have the final say. They need the power to reject or modify the AI's output based on their professional judgment, without penalty. Transparency about data and bias is part of this too.
Got it. Let's move to formative assessment. How does AI fit into that feedback loop for improving teaching and learning?
There's a really natural fit. Formative assessment is all about gathering data on student understanding to adapt teaching, right?
Right, it's ongoing diagnostic.
And AI is fundamentally about detecting patterns and adapting actions. So you see the overlap. Formative assessment isn't just measurement, it's about reflection and changing what you do.
And AI could supercharge those feedback loops.
Potentially, yeah. The report talks about feedback at all levels: individual, small group, whole class, in the moment, over longer projects. Even feedback for the teacher's own practice or for improving the tool itself.
So formative assessment could be a prime area for AI exploration.
The report suggests exactly that. It builds on existing ideas, and we can leverage the expertise of the assessment community.
They use automated essay scoring, AES, as an example. What's the story there?
AES tries to give faster feedback on writing, which is great because grading essays takes so much time. But
There's a but.
there's always a but. While AES tech has improved, it can still be tricked, like by long essays stuffed with keywords, even if the writing isn't actually good.
So it might correlate with human scores, but it's not seeing the same things.
Exactly. A quote in the report highlights that perfectly. They're not noticing the same nuances, which again points to needing a human in the loop. AI helps, but doesn't replace nuanced judgment.
Okay, so what are the big opportunities for AI in formative assessment?
One key area is measuring things that are hard to assess traditionally, beyond just content knowledge.
Right.
Problem solving, communication, collaboration, perseverance, self-regulation, those complex skills, and deeper aspects within content areas too.
And helping students get help when they need it.
Yes, detecting students who are stuck wheel spinning but maybe afraid to ask, prompting them, or even figuring out what kind of help works best for a specific student based on past interactions, providing hints when the teacher's busy. Lots of potential there.
The key recommendation here is about harnessing assessment expertise to reduce bias. Why the strong focus on bias?
Because bias in assessment is a long-standing issue, and AI can amplify it if we're not careful. Algorithmic discrimination is real biased. Data trains biased algorithms.
Leading to unfair feedback or interventions.
Exactly. And fairness isn't just about access to help, but whether the help is actually appropriate and high quality for that student. We need deliberate, strong attention to bias, using all the tools psychometrics offers. It's a point the AI Coach by Anil Nathu also emphasizes. The ethical application requires vigilance against bias.
So same rigor, maybe even more than traditional assessment.
Absolutely. The report lists related questions too. What are the real benefits? Are humans centered? Is professional development adequate? How are we tackling bias? What about data governance? Are there guardrails? Are we building trust? All critical.
Okay, let's wrap up with the overarching recommendations for policy. Number 1, emphasize humans in the loop. Why is this first?
Because it's the foundation. It's about ensuring human judgment, ethics, teacher expertise remain central. AI should augment, not automate completely.
The electric bike analogy they use? Assisting, not taking over like a robot vacuum.
That's the one. It applies to everyone. Teachers using chatbots, parents interacting with systems, students, policymakers. Everyone needs to think about their responsible loop.
Recommendation 2. Align AI models to a shared vision for education.
Meaning, educational goals come first, not the shiny new tech. Start with what you want students to learn and achieve, then see if AI helps. Don't get seduced by capabilities alone.
And lean on existing policies like ESSA evidence standards, FERPA.
Yes, be critical, distrust hype, ask hard questions. Figure 14 in the report lists desirable characteristics: aligned vision, privacy, explainability, bias protection, efficacy, robustness. Use that as a checklist.
Third, design, using modern learning principles. Ground AI in what we know works.
Exactly. Don't just let the data drive everything without human interpretation and learning science. And bring in assessment experts to tackle bias and fairness from the start.
Fourth recommendation, prioritize strengthening trust. How do we build it?
Trust is everything. People are already wary of edtech privacy, usability, effectiveness, cost. Building trust means proving AI is safe, useful, and actually works.
And reinforcing that it's about supporting teachers, not replacing them.
Critically important. Trustworthy AI needs all those elements from Figure 14 we mentioned.
Fifth, inform and involve educators. This seems obvious but crucial.
Absolutely vital. Teachers need to be involved at every step. Design, testing, adoption, management, review. Listen to them. Value their expertise.
The report even suggests a national core of leading educators and PD.
Yeah, concrete ideas to show respect and empower teachers in this process.
Sixth recommendation, focus R&D on addressing context and enhancing trust and safety, shifting research priorities.
Yes. Move beyond just technical tweaks to understand the real-world context. Learner variability, classroom dynamics, resources, teacher prep, policies.
Context matters hugely.
It does. Research needs partnerships to get that context right. And prioritize fairness, accountability, transparency, safety. Involve youth. Build infrastructure for responsible data research.
And finally, recommendation 7, develop education-specific guidelines and guardrails. Why specific to education?
Because education has unique needs and values. General AI ethics are a start, but things like FERPA, instructional goals, equity issues in schools require tailored guidance. Local leaders need help navigating this complexity. Privacy, bias, transparency, accountability, they all look different in a K-12 setting.
So parallel work at all levels, but with an education focus.
That's the idea.
Wow. Okay, so it's clear this report paints a picture of a massive potential, but also significant responsibility. It's a complex path forward.
It really is. It requires collaboration, careful thought, and keeping students and educators front and center,
Okay.
always. The insights shared by resources like the AI Coach by Anil Nathu are definitely helpful for navigating this.
Absolutely. And the department seems committed to next steps, policies, scenarios, resources, updating the NetTP. That's encouraging.
It shows the conversation is moving forward, which is good. We encourage you to continue exploring these important topics. And for further insights on navigating the world of AI in education, be sure to check out the AI Coach by Anil Nathu. Their resources can provide valuable perspectives as you consider the implications of this report. Again, that's the AI Coach by Anil Nathu for more.
Thank you for joining us today. Visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights by Anil Nathu.